Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today's guest is the owner and head coach of one of the newest Dominance locations that's been opened at Warrnambool, Dominance Warrnambool. He is well known to many people in the Australian Jiu-Jitsu community, and we're looking forward to chatting with and getting to know a bit more Lachlan. Thanks for joining us, Lachie.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Lachie, thank you so much, mate. I've been looking forward to this one. Anytime there's a Dominance team member or teammate coming in, I get so excited by it. And then, like, for the next 2 weeks, I'm like, hey, what about this person? What about this person? And Kim's like, Brent, we can't have everybody in our club on the podcast.
There are loads of other Brent on a lead, yeah.
Just everyone in line, everyone in the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not a Dominance podcast.
That's right. Exactly.
It's awesome to have you in, mate. So thank you very much for coming in and having a chat with us. Whereabouts did your martial arts journey start, mate? You've done a bit.
Well, I started martial arts when I was about 15 in Warrnambool. I started out doing Muay Thai. So, yeah, Muay Thai kickboxing. And then I was doing Muay Thai right up until I was probably about, I think, 22 or something like that. Yeah, I had a bunch of fights and then started doing jiu-jitsu because I want to transition to MMA. But yeah, like around about 15, I was about 15, I think. Yeah, I started in Muay Thai.
Yeah, as I said to you, I've been trying to dig up a bit of dirt about you, Lachie, but I couldn't get much. However, I did get some info from your first Muay Thai coach, Darren Pierce. Yeah. Told us about a time when you were, I think, fairly early on in the piece where you missed the pads and hit a female.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
I was a pretty full-on kid in the gym. I think I just I couldn't. It was probably a mix between bit of unco-ness and just going super hard.
Yeah, that was pretty much the way you described it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember, like, I went into, like, clinch, so, like, to grapple in Muay Thai, and I ended up headbutting this girl in the nose. Yeah. I broke her nose.
Yeah.
That was, like, one of a couple of ones at the start where I was a bit unco and hit people and injured people. I think that's continued somewhat.
Was martial arts something that you felt that you kind of needed to do? Like, were you one of those kids who like wanted to scrap all the time? Like, what made you start?
Yeah, so I wasn't really I wasn't super aggressive. I fought with my brothers a lot, but I'm the youngest of three. I had to fight my brothers quite a bit. I wasn't, I guess, super aggressive in that way, but I just kind of got into it. My brother was doing it somewhere else, and then my friend was doing it, training at the gym that I end up training at, and he just invited me along. He's like, give it a go, and then I think I did like 2 classes, and I was like, this is awesome, because I had played football and stuff, and I was not very good at any ball sports, any catching, kicking, throwing. I'm still not very good at it. I can catch punches and kicks, but not rounds, balls and everything.
What you're saying, Lachie, is that even if someone's a bit unco, they can still push through, yeah? They can still, like, get there. How was it? Just a sort of time factor for you? How did you manage to kind of allay the unco-ness?
Yeah, I think, I'm still somewhat unco in some positions.
Or did you?
Or did we? Yeah, that's probably a better question. Yeah. Well, it can definitely fall into a style. You can have that, like, unco style. But for me, I think this kind of was, like, in conjunction of, like, falling in love with, like, martial arts and just with kickboxing. Like, I remember starting the classes, like, when I was young, and, like, the class would end after an hour, and I would stay there for another couple of hours after the class. So I would do like the hour training, and then I would stay behind. Let's say it started at 5, it went to 6, and I would go home at 8 o'clock. So I was like, I think just that high repetition to kind of shake that unconness definitely helps.
And country towns are like that too, I reckon, aren't they, Lachie? Like, I spent a bit of time in my childhood in a country town, and if there's something that you can do for an hour, you can usually do that for 3 hours. People will hang around and that sort of thing. And I think country towns like, whether it's playing footy or tennis or cricket or Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, because there's stuff to do, but there's less stuff to do than like in a metropolitan city. So it's like, you've got all this like spare time to hone these skills or whatever you want to spend your time with, rather than unnecessarily been super distracted with being, having so much advantage towards, or so much stuff that you can do in the city, or there's less stuff to do here.
Yeah. And so what brought you to Melbourne? So you were in Warrnambool when you first started Muay Thai, and then did you come across to Melbourne and then continue on with the Muay Thai, or did you start jiu-jitsu back in Warrnambool?
Yeah, so I was doing Muay Thai down here, and then I started like moving. So I started jiu-jitsu down here, just with like the gym that I was at. So not here. So I moved to another gym that did more kind of MMA and jiu-jitsu. So I started doing jiu-jitsu there, and then moved over to started doing MMA. I think I had like maybe I think I had 3 MMA fights out of the gym here, and then I was moving up because my girlfriend was moving up. She was starting uni, and I was going to stay down here, and I was kind of unsure. I was in that kind of crossroads. So like, what should I do next? And I also was studying up in Melbourne anyhow, so I would travel up every week to go up to Melbourne. So I was like, I'll just move up. And I moved up there, and then I was lucky enough that Dave gave me a job teaching Muay Thai up there. So I had a job and a place to stay, because I just went and lived with my girlfriend Sam and Ailish. So I think you guys know those two. Yeah, so we just all moved up kind of all together. Yeah, and then from there I was starting to do a little bit more like contact with the MMA, because the MMA team was up there, and and a lot more jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
That transition, mate, from Muay Thai and then sort of sitting there and going, hey, I'd really like to fight MMA. I've got zero ambition to do that and never have.
Yeah.
What was the drive? Hey, this beautiful not punched, okay?
Yeah.
What was the driver, mate? Where did that come from?
Well, it was a bit of like, I was doing jiu-jitsu a little bit. Like I was kind of like just kind of playing with it. It was like at the gym, Trail, which he's been on this podcast before. So he was kind of coaching me in the Muay Thai, and then he was like, "Oh, you should like maybe think about doing MMA." And there was a point where he was like, "Why don't you do MMA? It's like it's so much better than kickboxing." And I was like, "Nah." And just I really remember saying that I was like, "Nah, jiu-jitsu's gay." and and then I think that was probably about a month later. We were just doing like MMA round. We did a bunch of like jiu-jitsu rounds, kickboxing rounds, and then MMA rounds. And I was like, I'll jump in, do some sparring and stuff, get some extra like rolls in and fitness. And then he just proceeded to hold me down for like 10 minutes and just punch me in the face in mouth. He's go, is it gay? Are you gay now? And yeah, I think that was a pretty good. I was like, oh, maybe I should do a bit more of this jiu-jitsu stuff.
And
Yeah, so,
Lachie, in trying to dig up some dirt on you, I've been told to ask you about training at Tower Hill. Can you tell us a bit about that?
yeah. So this is like one of the, a lot of these stories will include trail. You can see that the feature right here in most of these stories. Yeah, so when the guys from Melbourne, so from Dominance, like Michael Manu and Sean Gauchi, and Jack Shan, and there's a bunch of other MMA guys, Josh and stuff, if you know the people, would come down and they would do like the camps in Warrnambool, because we would do like a Friday night training when they came down, and then we would do 2 on a Saturday and then 2 on a Sunday. And they were like, couple of hour long sessions. So we do a morning session, then a night session. And then Sunday, the last one was Tower Hill. And it was like it was like obviously conditioning, but it was more like spirit training. And it was just, to simply say, it was horrible. But like what it did for you as a fighter, like, was crazy. Like, nothing could kind of break you, because it was just so difficult. A lot of just like sprinting up, a K and a half incline with, that's like 60 degrees or something like that, where it's just awful. And then, I remember one, I think might have been the first one or the second one. We had to sprint up there as fast as we can and back, and then trail timed had all our times. We did end up doing an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours of conditioning, running, sprinting, suicides, push-ups and stuff. And then he gave us a rock and said, okay, now beat your time from the first, but carrying the rock. And you can spend as much as you like time, but you're not going home until you finish it. Yeah, and I think like him, I think he ended up, I'm not sure if he did. I'm not sure if he had our keys or something, but yeah, he kept us there, and we bet our times, but it was awful.
Wow, that's incredible. He's such an interesting guy, right? Like you've to get where you are, I reckon, Lachie, like you've surrounded yourself and you've fallen into that realm of very interesting people who are, really intelligent. You've obviously learned to push yourself and upskill constantly. But sometimes those initial people, someone like Trail or Dave even, right? Like you're like, oh man, this person just pushes you beyond what you think you can do. Did you find that was really important?
Like to progress?
Yeah, like to get to, to progress.
I think like it's and it's one of those things that's like, I think especially that type of training can be really confronting and can often do the opposite if the person's not ready for it. But I think like the best thing about like someone like T or Dave is like, I think they can kind of like tell when those times are ready. Like I think if you were to just do it from someone who had just been training maybe, like a couple of years or something, like, and how they're training, like that, are they training like recreationally? And, if they are emotionally, technically, or, condition wise, physically ready for that, those challenges, I think that they juggle those challenges quite well, and they like have a good, good timing on when to do it. So I think like there was, often there was good timing of like when I was ready to do those things. And obviously you can't be 100% ready, otherwise it's not a challenge. So it's like, it has to be like, you have to be on a moment or a transitioning period from one, point to another point. But I think like it was the thing that kind of drove me to think like, I should continue this stuff, is like the bang for my buck kind of thing. Like I would do something like that and I'd be like, oh, this has made me so much better. Not necessarily just with skill or just, being fit or anything, but I'm like, you get the reward back on it and you're like, God, that was hard, but I can see why it was hard and what I got back from it. So I think, that's probably to kind of answer the question in a long way.
Yeah. And tell us a bit more about your transition from Muay Thai to Jiu-Jitsu. So you sort of sounded like you weren't that keen for it at the beginning. How did you find that and how did you fall in love with Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, I started, because I kind of did one or two jiu-jitsu class, and the gym I was at was actually like they had taught jiu-jitsu and for a long time, and I think it was in a combination of like being around it, that also the way I was fighting in Muay Thai wasn't very like the tradition. It just didn't really help me win fights. I mean, that had a lot to do with how aggressive I was as a fighter as well. But just the way I fought also didn't favour for the way like Muay Thai is often scored as well. And I was I reckon I remember doing like a couple of jiu-jitsu classes and I was like started like swinging up like arm bars and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. This is really fun. And like, just especially because we would like practice like a swinging arm bar drill. And I like got it in a couple of like rolls and I was like, oh, this shit actually works. Like, and I was like, and then, I was doing it and I was still fighting Muay Thai as well. And I remember at one point, like I was just getting right into, I think it was about 6 months, I was just training a heap of Muay Thai, obviously for fighting, but then I was also doing a heap of jiu-jitsu. I remember like Trail and Gibbo, the guy that owned the gym, he was like, you got to stop jiu-jitsu for this fight. So I had to stop it for 6 weeks because I had the 6 weeks for a camp because I wouldn't get distracted and obviously a fatigue thing, like, so I'm not training too much. And I was like, I was spewing. I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm just getting the hang of this thing. And I think like at that point I was like, okay, I think like getting into MMA is probably going to be the best thing because I still wanted to fight, but I also still wanted to do jiu-jitsu. I was like, why not both?
Yeah. It's a couple of things from that for me, like I've heard people say do jiu-jitsu until if you want to quit, whatever, right? But do jiu-jitsu until you legitimately tap someone, like where you start from the feet and do it until you legitimately tap someone. And then see if you want to quit. So you don't want to quit. That feeling, you're like, oh shit, this does work.
Yeah. And you're like with like people that would not like had been beating you up or normally beat you up, even if it's in something else. You're like, oh, like this is like this guy usually beats me in like striking or something. Like this is the equalizer. You're like, oh, I need this.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, right? And I think that's a really cool takeaway for people, along the journey. It's like, you obviously go through these stages, especially if you're like new to jiu-jitsu. But when you legitimately tap someone, and it's not like someone letting you work and like, oh, that was a good spot, man. Yeah, like I fell into your close. You armbarred me. Oh, that was beautiful. Keep going. A pat on the head and shit. But like that initial thing where you like whether it's in a comp or something like that, That's a
Yeah.
cool feeling. I think that's one of the things that jiu-jitsu gives. I also
Yeah.
think what you were talking about with a camp, one of my really good mates, a guy called Paul, he said to me when I first started jiu-jitsu, he's like, you should compete one day. And then I competed, and he's like, and now you should do a camp. I'm like, I ain't doing a camp, bro. This is just fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do a camp. Like, I'm not doing it for that. But then all of a sudden, yeah, you do a couple of comps, you're like, oh, maybe I could be a little bit fitter. Or maybe I could just
Yeah.
concentrate on what it is that I want to do. So
Yeah.
those two
Yeah.
things that you're sort of spoken about, mate, doing a camp. I'm not doing those hill sprints and suicides, but being a little bit more focused can be a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it makes a massive difference. Like, I think, like even those camps, I think we did like maybe 4 or 5 of them. And like one, we were all winning. So like, you know, man, I mean, just on the books, you know, on the stats, but also just that your elevation of like where you were when you started that camp, which is, it's weird to say, you know, like you might be at a state like on a Thursday night, and then on a Monday night, yeah, or maybe on Tuesday when you recovered, or maybe Wednesday, um, yeah. It feels like, you know, it's like, and that's what was so good about it. It was literally like getting like 2, you know, maybe 3 weeks and just smush it into like a little capsule. And it's like, it just elevates you dramatically, even if it's like, as you said, like your mate Paul was like, you know, do a camp, and it could be like, you know, 6 weeks, it could be like 4 weeks, maybe even 2. But like what it actually does, like it really condenses it. And I think it has a lot to do with, it really requires you to be attentive and be focused in those, you know, 2 weeks, 6 week period where you got to like hone straight in. And I think it's like, obviously it's a technique thing. You're doing high reps, you're doing all the stuff, you're getting fitter, you're getting stronger, you're eating well, doing all those things. But I think it has a lot to do with like, it's more like a intention, like intention, attention, and concentration is that you're like honing in. And that's actually what you're pretty much training. You're kind of like training your ability to take information in. So then after that, the ability to, you know, obviously your quality of being attentive or concentrating is higher than when you go back into regular training or competition. You just take in more. It's just like, you just pretty much are like, you know, putting actual glasses on. Yeah.
And Lachie, how do you think your beginning in jiu-jitsu or in martial arts and all of that, what you were talking about, has helped you as a coach?
Yeah. So as a coach, well, I think like that, kind of coming off what I was just saying is like, you know, when you're doing like the classes and stuff, like you can kind of, I mean, there's times when you could, like, you got to focus, but then there's times where you can kind of sit on the back burner and kind of just like slowly drips it, you know, the old like, what, you know, everyone gets it. And then you just turn to your partner and you're like, what are we doing? You know, but like as a coach, you know, you have to be very on and deliberate in like, what's the next thing? What's actually happening? How am I actually saying this? Is this getting across? You know, like there's all these other kind of elements that you have to be aware of. And I think like the diligence of training a lot has also allowed me to be able to transition that or move that skill to teaching, because you have to be on. Yeah. If like you could be teaching the best stuff in the world, you can be teaching the most relevant stuff in the world to jiu-jitsu or, you know, whatever it may be. But if you're looking down and you're mumbling, you know, like, like no one's gonna pick up on it. They're gonna be like, "What? He doesn't look like he knows what he's talking about," kind of thing. So, like you have to be really clear in the way you get the information across. So I think probably the skills of being on is probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
Was that something that came natural to you, do you think, Lachie? The teaching side of it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I struggle with a lot that, and like I think me struggling with it has made me better, obviously, because like there's all these little things. I'm like, oh, I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good, generally for public speaking. Anyhow, I was like,
I know it
even
took
for
me a
this,
while to convince you to come on here. Yeah, I've been
you was
twisting
like,
your arm for
you
weeks.
was like, are you going to do the podcast? When are you free? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
I'm very persistent. Very, very persistent.
Really busy, really busy.
yeah, I'm flat out.
What about something?
So I think like, that skill just definitely didn't come natural to me. I struggled a lot. And then, through even just with, I've been involved in teaching a lot more because I've been teaching for a long time, for like, since I was like 17, like a long, long, long time. And then just having like picking up little skills and then having even conversations with like Trail and like Dave and other coaches as well. Like, when this happens, do you have, like, what do you do? Or like, and I think like then getting into how to teach, like it's kind of become interesting to me, like the certain things you say, the timing you say, the tone. Yeah. And this is like obviously it happens a lot in like adult classes, but big time when you're teaching kids, like they don't care what you're saying sometimes, most of the time. But it's just the tone you say it, and if you're like you can change and like lift and change the tone, it'll like click their attention in. Like Link is you can talk to Link about this, talk to any of the kids coaches, Dominance and in anything really. They're often the best ones who can hold the kids' attention through making it engaging, not just obviously with just the drills, but also how to translate the drills. I think
And Lachie, tell us a bit about the decision to open Dominance Warrnambool. Was that something that's been coming for a long time? Had you always had that on the horizon, or was it no?
Yeah, so I was moving up actually to the city to do my uni course up there, and then my girlfriend was moving up there at the time and went into Dominance as the coach. And then I was like, oh, I'll eventually hopefully get like as I did, train up to a point where I could get a black belt and then move back down because I wanted to start a gym down here. That was kind of originally the plan all along, is just to move up and then move back, so the quality of training could come back to here. Because I really struggled to get quality training, good people to roll with, good people to spar against. I remember myself and my brother often would drive up every week. We would drive up on a Saturday, like get up at 5, do 3 hours of training at Dominance, have lunch, and then drive back. And that was every Saturday for like years and years, like a couple of years. So I was like, if I can bring it down here, then people don't have to go through that. But there's obviously you have to go up there for certain things. But if to travel up every weekend is brutal because it's a 6-hour drive all up. Yeah, that was like the main goal. Yeah.
We're definitely going to ask you about your black belt, but I've got a real naive question, Lachie, because I have got no idea. How do you tell the difference between somebody who's been training Muay Thai for 2 years or someone that's been training for 10 years? Is there a rank system? Like, can you sit there and go, wow, this guy has like a red band on his glove, or like, is there any system?
There are systems. There's a lot of them. I think, like, from what I know, like, there's a lot of like smaller systems, and there's like larger systems. Like, one system that I'm kind of familiar with is the TBA, so it's the Thai Boxing Association, and that has like a kind of syllabus that you have to like eventually tick off. It's very similar to like that thing of you need to be able to do it. Definitely, there's like elements of like showing. You have to show the techniques, and you get graded on them and stuff, and then you get sashes. But traditionally, it's not it's not like karate or BJJ. It's very much like a subjective like skill. So it's like, I mean, in a way, it's like it's very similar. There are elements of it very similar to, BJJ. Like there's levels of belts. There's like you can be
like, there wouldn't necessarily be like a like you walk into a room and that guy's obviously a black belt, that guy's obviously a blue belt, but you would walk in the room, spar with somebody, and go, okay, that's the level that this person's at. Does that kind of help more so how you'd figure it out?
Yes, because you can kind of feel it, like, and you'll get that, like if you roll with other gyms and stuff, like there's like you walk into like a gym, that's in the middle of like nowhere, and you roll with something, you're like, oh yeah, the level's pretty good here. But then if you walk into Atos or AOJ and you like roll with a blue belt, and you're like, this guy's not a blue belt. He's like, like he might be a world champion as a blue belt, but you're like, this guy is, you can feel it. Like you definitely feel it, and you can feel the tone in which they're rolling with you. They're like, that difference between like, oh, this person is literally just playing.
And Lachie, so speaking about levels, has there been a lot of change in the Warrnambool jiu-jitsu scene from the time you left to where you're at now? Like, it looks as though from what I can see on social media, there's quite a few higher belts there at Dominance Warrnambool. So you've got a few higher belts there already. How does it compare overall?
Like to other gyms, do you mean? Like around the area?
Yeah, just in general, how has jiu-jitsu changed there in that town?
Yeah, so like I think it's become more like it's like people know of it more, for one. It's just coming a bit more regular, like, and because it's such a small town as well. Everyone knows everyone, so they can't, like, because there's more people doing it. People kind of there's more. It's more familiar. But with the level in Trail has his gym in Port Fairy, and he would just train as much as he could. Obviously, like a lot of work, and he has health issues as well. And there was a crew there that would train quite consistently, and they're all purple. Most of them are purple belts. There's 2 blue belts. So they would like put in the yards, and they would travel up to Melbourne and train at Dominance quite a bit, which is good. It was obviously like always trying to bring that knowledge down. And I would do as much as I could to come down when I would travel and just, come roll with the guys. And but the level, I mean, more people are doing it. I wouldn't say the level's better.
It's getting there. I know some of the guys that you're talking about that are via trail, like guys like Gary. They're beasts, mate. They're like, I look at your reels, as you're bowing out, and I'm like, that guy's hard, that guy's hard, that guy's hard, that guy's hard.
Yeah.
And so massive. There's a lot of big units there too, Lachie. How is
country beef?
Yeah. Well, I was saying that because Angus came down on the weekend, Angus Tonkin. And he took a class and helped me out with the kids class as well. And he was like, he actually came in Friday night. We had the open mat, and he rolled with a bunch of the guys, because I was like, he's on the mat, like it's good, like it's good to feel it, like his ability. and for how, like, he's not a massive guy. Like, he's just he's an average. He's like kind of similar size to me. So he's like, it's good to feel that ability.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I was like, oh, how'd you go? What do you reckon? Like, what do you reckon of the level and stuff? And he's like, yeah, the level's good. And he's like, mate, they're just all strong. He's just strong. And I was like, oh yeah, full cream meat, milk, 2% fat.
Man, it's true. Country people, because you're growing up in the country, like you're always doing stuff, whether you're not even farming community, but you're always doing stuff, right? Like, always. Yeah,
like there's
cool.
There's a bunch of crew that are like, obviously, like there's a lot of trade workers, but even just like, there's a couple of guys that are pretty physical, like they're BMXers or something like that. They're like, or they play a physical sport, they surf a lot, like to just stay up on a surfboard, you have to be strong.
Yeah.
So like, I think that combination.
So I mentioned before, mate, that we wanted to talk to you about getting your black belt. So can you give us a rundown on, like on your belt progression, maybe? So like, who gave you your belts, and then tell us about the day you got your black belt.
Yeah. Well, I got my blue belt actually down in Warrnambool, but it was kind of through Dave as well. So we are affiliated with the kind of Will Machado and Dominance as well. So I got my blue belt down here. I think I got I had 2 stripes on my blue belt, and then I moved up to the city. And then I was a blue belt for a little. I can't actually remember how long. It's all a big blur, kind of. And then, I jumped from. I think I was a blue belt 2 stripe, and I think I went to purple, which was kind of surprising to me. I think because I had trained for so long as a blue belt, I think that jump up was kind of needed, which is nice. And then, just training over the years. I was up in Melbourne for like 8 years. So from, 8 years from about, blue with 2 stripes. And then I went, obviously purple, 4 stripes, brown. And, and then just got my black belt, what was it, last year in July, the start of July. Yeah. So, well, obviously it was awesome to do it. It's one of those things, like, it's a massive journey and it takes a long time and a lot of effort. So it's always nice to like kind of get recognized for doing, as a pivotal point. Yeah. So I think I'm not sure what else to say.
In trying to dig up some dirt on you, Lachie, I also reached out to Gary. We talked about Gary, and he mentioned that he got a chipped front tooth from you as a purple belt. So do you think, did that unco-ness translate a bit through in jiu-jitsu as well as Muay Thai?
Oh, yeah. It's, I've had, I don't know. It's not like there's been a couple of injuries that I've been involved in. I'm not 100% sure if they're like, I'm not necessarily saying that I was doing it on purpose, but I would just be moving. I think like, the stars align and these things that happen. I remember like people, I kind of got the name for it. I was kind of, I had people that, like Gary might have had a chipped tooth or something like, and then I was rolling with one guy and he spun and I was kind of like sitting, like laying on the ground. I had attached to his leg and he spun and his shin had broken in 3 spots. So I was like, that's kind of what people were like, oh, you just injure everyone. I kind of got the name after that. I was like, oh, no. No one wants to roll with me now.
That's rough. That's rough.
But, I'm not sure it was just like, by circumstance. Luca makes out. Luca, the guy who takes the judo class at Tomo.
Yeah.
He's he's like, no, you've got like that bad voodoo, and it just radiates on people. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, mate, that's a
Hopefully.
rough reputation to have. What
Yeah,
about
I know.
injuries?
Hey,
What about injuries for yourself? Have you had any?
yeah, well, like, knock on wood. I've been pretty lucky. I've actually only had but I mean, I've been knocked out, but you can probably tell that. Like I've only had a broken nose, a couple of cuts on my face, and a broken like tailbone, but that's all been from like Muay Thai. Jiu-jitsu wise, I've been extremely lucky. Like I've had almost no injuries. I remember saying to Sam McCarthy, because he was like, when I got my black belt, and he's like, so, well, what does it feel like, mate? Feels good, doesn't it? Like to be a black belt. I was like, my biggest achievement is that I didn't have to have any surgery or or any major injury over my journey from white to black. So I was like, I've been pretty lucky. So let's hope that it stays that way.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I don't think too many of our guests could say the same thing. So yeah, that's amazing. So look, thank you so much, Lachie, for giving up your time. You're a super busy man, and as we spoke about, one that does not want to be in the limelight too much. So I hope this has been okay for you, not too painful. We have a little bit of a pop quiz that we do at the end here that Brentos is going to fire off some questions. You can make the answers as short or as long as you like.
Okay.
All right, Lachie. It's a little bit pass fail, mate. We'll see how we go.
That's all right.
In my head, it's pass or fail. No one else, is just me. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone, because I got one.
Fail. Strength or flexibility?
Oh, strength.
Nice. Guard pull or takedown?
Oh, takedown.
Nice. Pasta or rice?
What was that one?
Pasta or rice?
Pasta or rice? Or pasta.
Yep. Steak or chicken?
Steak.
First car you ever owned?
It was a XL Laser.
Oh, man. Yeah, everyone had those, eh? Was that the hatchback one?
Yes.
Yeah. I know those. What's your favorite belt level that you've been at?
Favorite belt level? I'm going to say purple, I reckon. Yeah.
Why is that? We get that a lot. That for sure is the most answered, purple for sure. What
Really?
about it for you, Lachie?
I think like it's when everything starts kind of like coming together. Like obviously, like like as a blue belt, you have all these things like you have the ability to have a guard. You have like the submissions that you like. You can control. Yeah, you have like particular controls, but there's like all these other things. Like I think the smaller details. So like you become like, okay, I like to outside pass or something like that. I like to, play this particular game really well, and I have all these avenues to get there, rather than just like if I don't go that way, it's going to go bad for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's when your game comes together. Yeah, you really get it. You get known for your game, and it really starts to link together, like you said.
Yeah. And like it's kind of interesting. Like in a gym, like it's like it's like your personality or your like persona. Like that's the passer guy. That's the guy who plays guard. Yeah, for me it was weirdly enough. Even from MMA, like I just played deep half a heap, which is they're like, that's the deep half guy.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And also the other thing with purple, there's not a lot of pressure too, depending on what academy you're at, of course. Like you're not normally the top of the tree, but honestly, your skill level is almost the same as a black belt, but there's no expectation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's all the fun with no pressure.
Yeah. You're over the blue belt stuff like pressure, but then you're like not in the brown belt like pressure thing. You're just like cruising. Yeah. Yeah. It's like being a teenager again.
You think you got all the answers, but you realize you still don't really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, mate, we've got a couple more for you. Gi or no gi?
Oh, that's a hard one. That is super hard. I'm gonna have to go with the gi.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you know Dave would be watching this, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just people ask me that a lot, and I just I go. It's like asking which kid you love more. Yeah.
I wonder if in summertime, if we're like gi or no gi, people are like no gi. It's too hot.
Yeah. Maybe because I'm just sitting here in Uggies. Awesome. I'm sitting here in Uggies on my gi.
But it's in Warrnambool. It's never hot there, Brentos. So, it's always going to be the gi.
All right, mate. I've got two more for you, Lachie. These are easy ones for you, mate. The first one: can you drive a manual car?
No. No, I cannot.
But you grew up in the country. What do you mean?
Country boys.
Did I lose that one?
Yeah, you lost that one.
Brentos said you pass or fail. I'm watching his face for every answer that you give, and he's doing a good poker face, let me tell you.
That one was a fail, I think.
That one I'm gutted. All right, the last one. I'm pretty confident with this one. Do you wear Crocs?
No, I don't.
See?
So you managed
redeemed
to pass.
himself.
Yeah.
You don't need to drive a manual if you don't wear Crocs. You're fine, mate. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
What a combo, though.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks again, Lachie. And we'll have this episode out in a couple of weeks. Brentos, did you want to do the wrap up?
Yeah, before I do the wrap up, Lachie, can you just tell us a little bit about the gym, where you're at, and are people welcome just to pop in when they're holidaying down the coast?
Yeah. So we're down, obviously, in Warrnambool. We're just slightly out of town. It's on RoD. It's 44. It's called, 44 Carat Road. It's in a boxing gym, so it's kind of hard to see on the exterior. But if you go on the internet and write in Dominance Warrnambool, it'll come up and you can go over and walk in. Even if you know where it is, you're more than welcome to come in. I'll be in. You can just jump on and get some rolls in. It's really nice, obviously, when it's summer down here. So we can, it actually is a bit nicer where it's not raining and super windy. So if you're down this way over holidays, like in Port Fairy and going to the beach and stuff, or camping, more than welcome to come down. It'd be great to have more guys on the mat. Yeah,
and like you were saying earlier, I think it helps your guys as well to get like exposure to other people and to maybe help raise the level up. So please consider. It's a big help to a country town jiu-jitsu gym to have visitors come through. So you're actually, I think, helping the community when you come through, as well as getting your own fix of jiu-jitsu while you're on holiday.
Yeah, exactly. And we're kind of lucky enough. It's kind of, obviously Melbourne's, right near Melbourne, but also like in between where Adelaide is as well. So, we've had, a couple of people that were coming through from Adelaide, drop in as well. So it's kind of just.
And I mean, I said it's a cold place, but Warrnambool is really a very lovely part of Victoria, and I really encourage people to go visit it. I love it down there, and obviously you do as well. Sorry, Brent.
Good enough.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's it. We'll leave it there. Thank you for coming on. I knew this would be a good chat. I knew that there'd be a couple of cool stories, so thank you for sharing those with us, Lachie. All the best for the continued success too of Dominance Warrnambool. It will continue to grow, mate. You
Thank
are a
you.
very good coach. You're a very personable person. Your reels that you always put up of the beast on the mat is always good to see. And it's not true, mate. You do not clap like a seal. Do not listen to those people that say that.
What do you mean? It's funny because
Episode of RoD or Die. We appreciate you guys listening to another episode of this. Please remember, like, rate, and share as much as you can. It helps promote, country gyms, and it helps promote the Australian and New Zealand jiu-jitsu scene as well. So thank you, Lachie. That was really cool. Thank you, Kim. And until
Thanks,
next
man.
week, when we'll see you on another episode of RoD or Die, peace and love.
See ya.
Yeah.